Hey guys, it's Abdul for the good folks over at Leon Tailoring, 809 North Delaware, downtown Indianapolis. You know, this month, my wife and I are celebrating our 12th wedding anniversary, so I was looking at some pictures from our wedding from 12 years ago, and notice how good I look in that tuxedo from Leon Tailoring. Not just me, but all my groomsmen as well. And so if you got a big formal event or a wedding this fall, or maybe wedding next spring, think about our good friends over at Leon Tailoring. Larry, Norm, Kim, and Judy would be happy to see you and happy to make you look as good today as I did 12 years ago. Well, you'll almost look as good as me as 12 years ago. I'm just kidding. Swing on by Leon Tailoring. They'll be happy to see you. 809 North Delaware, downtown Indianapolis.
Jennifer,
how's it feel?
First, how you feel about that?
It was a great night. It was a great night. It really showed that Democrats are ready to go. It showed the opportunity for Hoosiers that they trust their candidate, who's the gubernatorial candidate, and we're just ready to go. We're excited.
Tonight's shooting at the Trump rally, obviously casting a pall over this. You condemned that violence. Do you want to expand on that? And also, tell me what you plan to do in the months ahead to try to prevent that from happening, try to counteract that.
Well, first of all, I don't have all the details. It's been an incredibly busy day. I know snippets about it, so I don't have all the details, and I'm not going to pretend to know those details. But I will say there is no room for political violence. There's no room for violence in political discourse on any side. So, it's unfortunate it happened. We'll wait to see the details and we'll go from there. But, we're just, there's just other ways to handle disagreement, and it's not through violence.
Jennifer, obviously Indiana's a very still red state. Donald Trump won here last couple times. What will you do differently that hasn't been done in the past by other Democratic candidates for governor?
Yeah, when you're 50 out of 50th on voter turnout, you're going to be red. If we vote, we win. So, it's red because of our voting turnout problem. It's unfortunate our General Assembly, the last session, came back and even made it more difficult. So we're going to take that responsibility to get out the vote. We're getting into communities. We're developing those relationships. We're getting our message out. We're reaching across that aisle. So we know it's going to be a big lift, but we're energized. We've got a great grassroots coalition of teachers and unions and women and men who support women and teacher and educate all kinds of educators. And so we're ready to go. It's going to take a very much a grassroots coalition.
Terry, coming into this, obviously there were some Democrats who were really concerned about your conservative voting record. Do you feel like today's vote overwhelmingly in your favor kind of assuages that?
I think you hit it right on the head, Brandon. I really do. As we move forward, I always pride myself in being a lifelong learner, and we've had those conversations, and I think today's vote just reaffirmed folks' confidence in my ability to do the good job.
How has the process been for you so far, and now what are you looking forward to in the next few months?
I'm a competitor, so I love it. This has been great. I've had a smile on my face now for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, so ready. I love it. So it's been great.
Southern Indiana is a lot more Republican than it used to be, a lot less Democrat than it used to be. What do you do to maybe sort of win back some of those Democrats who may have turned Republican south of I-70?
Yeah, so that's an easy question to answer. I appreciate you asking that, because really what people like in Southern Indiana is they like common sense. And what we're going to be able to bring to Southern Indiana is common sense. And we bring that common sense back, then the folks in Southern Indiana will jump on board and go with us.
Now you two are officially running mates. Talk about the next 48 to 72 hours, how you start that momentum.
I'm going to defer to my boss on that, but but we're going to hit the ground running. We'll start tonight. We're going to campaign, and we're going to campaign. Those are the three things we're going to do. So as we move forward, you're going to see us out a whole lot. And everybody in Indiana will know who Jennifer McCormick is and who Terry Goodin is.
How much of the message of the campaign is going to be what you would do, as opposed to the message being what you think that Republican ticket is going to be?
I think what our campaign, and once again the governor can jump in here and talk about that, but our campaign is going to be what we want Hoosiers want us to do. Hoosiers will want us to do things, and that's what our campaign is going to be, is how do we service those people who put us in office and put us there to do a good job. So we're going to listen to Hoosiers, and what they want done is what we're going to do as leaders of Indiana.
Jennifer, what's your take on the top of the ticket? Should you backing President Biden to remain on the top of the ticket?
Sorry. Repeat it one more time.
Do you still support President Biden remaining on the top of the ticket?
I know that right now there's a lot of decisions to be made. The biggest thing is he's been a very successful president, but we want him to take care of his own health, and that's a very personal decision with his family and his healthcare provider and obviously the president. So regardless of who lands in that position, we are going to support them. But I've said all along, no matter who the president of the United States is, as a governor of Indiana, I will work with them. And when they get things right for Indiana, we will celebrate it. And when it's a challenge for Indiana, we will be the first ones knocking at the door. So we are committed to working with whomever gets elected as our president. I mean, that's the responsibility of a governor.
Jennifer, do you have any concerns about your safety running for a top elected office in Indiana?
It's always a concern. I am going to be honest. You've got people out there that sometimes are more radical and more extreme, and they take it to a whole other level. And you're just aware. I'm not going to run scared of it, but we're very, very aware of just our surroundings, and we pay attention to social media. We pay attention to hard mail, and so I'm not overly concerned. There have been no direct threats to either one of us, and so we're ready to go, and we're going to run our race and not run scared.
What has changed in Indiana that makes you believe a Democrat can win a statewide elected office?
Well, first of all, my opponent, the Braun and Beckwith ticket, is just too extreme for Indiana, and we're hearing that across the state of Indiana. We're hearing Hoosiers across the political aisle saying, we just want someone who will focus on common sense, civility, and bipartisanship. Just focus on good-paying jobs and a strong economy, good education, and accessible, affordable health care and our health care rights. And so we're hearing the message across that political aisle. People are hungry, and we're seeing that every day as we travel the state of Indiana. It's time. The other option on the other side is just very, very extreme, and that is just does not fit Indiana.
Some of the biggest cheers that came from the convention was when public education was mentioned. You and Dr. Goodwin, how much are you going to be depending on public school teachers to get out the vote and support your campaign?
Yeah, education's over half of the state budgets. It's extremely important. If we get education right, we're in a much better place as a state. We have to have an educated workforce. We have to have educated consumers. I mean, that's just the reality of a successful state. We will rely on that K-12 education space, but in addition to that, pre-K, childcare, and then post-high school as well. So, people are very aware. They don't like our rankings where we're 41st in the nation in educational attainment. We're expensive, but we need to see it other than an expense to an investment. And it is time we prioritize education. We are seeing the effects of not doing that at this time, and it is time we refocus and get prioritized on K-12. Our kids deserve it.
One thing, Jennifer, you talked about is women reproductive health. What can you do as governor? Obviously, Republicans will probably still control the legislature. They may not have the veto of the supermajority anymore.
Right.
They'll still be the House, Senate. So what can people who believe in reproductive freedom expect from a McCormick administration?
Use that platform to look at every available option for ballot initiatives. I mean, it is time Indiana goes into that world and allow voters to have a voice. We need that mechanism to allow us, as a majority of Hoosiers, to say where we stand on issues. But we do have boards and commissions and state agencies. There are things a governor can do in that space. And so we are going to use whatever mechanism we have under that authority in order to move that needle. We must also address, it's a healthcare access issue as well. As far as a third of our counties don't have OBGYNs. That's not good for the state of Indiana. A lot of our kids don't have pediatricians. That's not good for Indiana. So it's a much broader problem that we need to address, but we will use whatever mechanism that we have available in order to move that needle. We deserve it. Hoosiers deserve that.
What about the Democratic fundraising deficit? What are Democratic candidates are...
Do we have one? Okay. So we understand fundraising is going to be difficult. I mean, it's not a surprise to anyone. And we understand that, we're going to work really hard for every dollar that we get. And I know the state party's working hard. All the candidates up and down the aisle or up and down the ballot are working hard. We're going to continue to really work hard for those dollars, and get what we can get secured. We're also reaching across the aisle for those dollars and had some success with that. So we're going to continue to work hard. We will have enough to be competitive, and so we feel good about where we are.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.